Hey guys, today I'm here with, oh my God, I already forgot, Erman, right? I'm gonna start
Yes,
that over.
Herman. Herman,
Arman.
yes.
Okay, Arman. Hey guys, today I'm here with Arman, and I just probably butchered his name. He's gonna correct it in just 1 second. But we're here today to talk about the Facebook Pixel for Shopify, iOS 14.5, the Facebook Conversion API, and a bunch of other good stuff that a bunch of Shopify stores get into trouble with. Erman, how do you pronounce your first name? And welcome, and apologies for butchering it.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me. My name is Herman. Actually, it starts with E, but I am used to any kind of pronunciation, so it's totally fine. Mostly foreigners pronounce it like Herman, Arman, Armand, Armando, like any kind of versions is fine.
Cool, man. Well, welcome. So I'm going to let you kind of go through your presentation. I don't know if you have it in your presentation, but do you want to quickly start with kind of what you're working on and then dive in from there?
Yeah, I am a very experienced digital marketing and data analytics expert in my field over 10, 12 years. And in the last 4 or 5 years, we have been working usually in Upwork market. We are offering productized services, and data analytics is one of our core services that we offer. And last few years, especially from Shopify store owners, we have been receiving so many requests about their Google Tag Manager setup, Google Analytics setup, Facebook Conversion API setup, and those things. Then we decided to create a standalone product and a Shopify app for Google Tag Manager and data analytics called Analyzify. So last, I think 8-9 months, I'm mostly focused on Analyzify and serving Shopify stores and clients in their data analytics setup.
Amazing. Well, the floor is yours. I'll let you drop into your presentation and thank you.
More than welcome. So yeah, the reason I wanted to talk about this topic is that I speak to minimum 4 to 5 Shopify store owners every day. And this is the top one thing that I hear all the time, like what will happen with the Facebook iOS 14 changes, my pixel stopped working, what about the conversion API, and those kind of things. And I found that really even the experts from our field aren't knowledgeable enough about what to do and how to deal with this thing. So I wanted to give you, in the beginning, I wanted to give a high-level overview of what it is, why we came to this day, and what changed, and why Pixel stopped working. Obviously, everybody knows iOS 14, but a little bit more technical information on that. Then I want to quickly walk through the Facebook Conversion API setup. It is so easy. It's just 4 or 5 steps, but I was quite surprised to see almost 40-50% of the stores I talked last month didn't have it set up correctly, and that causes a huge damage in their advertising return of investments. And then if we have enough time, I would like to make some Facebook Pixel troubleshooting. I want to show some screenshots from Facebook Pixel and so on. Lastly, we can talk about Google Ads enhanced conversions, which is very similar to Facebook Conversion API, but Google's version of Conversion API, let's say. And also, I can't help but share this common problems in the analytics account. 99% of the analytics accounts I have seen from Shopify store owners have these problems. They are really major problems, UTM problems, reporting problems. So I think it could be really helpful if we just spend a few minutes there, and I can just show a few tricks to make the Google Analytics accounts run better and to reports being more accurate. So this is pretty much the agenda that I want to walk through.
Awesome. Yeah, off to you. Let's get started.
Perfect. So I want to tell about, first of all, what happened with iOS 14.5. We learned 2 new terms. One is the IDFA, Identifier for Advertiser, and the other is ITP. I won't overwhelm you with the technical details, but simply what happened is that with the iOS 14 update, Apple started to ask users if users want to share their IDFA with the other apps, and if they allow this to share between the apps. For instance, when I was, let's say I'm in Instagram and I see an ad, and when I click on ad, Safari opens, right? And these are 2 different apps. And between 2 different apps, there is this data transfer. My IDFA, which is the unique ID for my mobile device, it was being transferred from Instagram to Safari. In this way, Facebook could track, the topic is Facebook, but anything else, but let's talk about Facebook. Facebook could track who am I, who clicked the ad, and if I did some certain actions on the website after I started that single click. So that is being not allowed now. It's not blocked, but Apple asks users, and 70% of the users, as far as we know, didn't allow it to do. So that's why we have now a huge drop off in the numbers of the user identification between the mobile devices. And the second thing, which happened is this intelligent tracking prevention, ITP. This is not new, but when it came together with this IDFA, it became very important that Safari in some cases blocks the third-party cookies, and third-party cookies, Facebook is a third-party cookie for our website because it's not coming from our website. And also it started to give a limited lifetime for some sort of cookies. Let's say only 24 hours for some in-app actions, only 7 days for browser actions. And cookies were the way that how we recognize the users, right? So I click the ad, I landed into your website, and there is a cookie in my browser on your website, which identifies me to Facebook. And if I complete a purchase, then Facebook Pixel recognizes me. Oh, this is Arman, clicked the ad 1 week ago. Through this ad, they clicked this term and so on. So these technical things, as they were limited, all the reports got broken because this information is not shared anymore. And obviously, Facebook quickly rolled out a change, a new way of tracking Facebook Conversion API. It existed before, but the name wasn't Conversion API. It wasn't this popular. So I will now demonstrate quickly what client-side tracking is and what server-side tracking is, because first Facebook Conversion API sits here. So the client-side tracking, client here refers to browser like Google, Chrome, Safari, anything like that. In client-side tracking, everything happens in the user's browser. I load your website, the tag manager is loaded, or directly Google Analytics is loaded, Facebook is loaded, some scripts are being sent. I hit add to cart button, and add to cart event is being sent to Analytics, and so on. So everything is happening in my browser. And in my browser, there are some first-party cookies and third-party cookies, either from the website or from these advertising platforms. And as everything is happening on the browser level, if I use an ad blocker, almost none of them is working. Or if I just switch between browsers, again, the tracking is interrupted. And what happens with the server-side tracking is that from the website at the browser level, there is only one single request is being sent to your own server, your own Google Cloud server, or directly to Facebook API. And in this way, there is no third-party cookie, and there is no a direct request being sent from user's browser to Facebook, so it's not blocked. So it is preventing this kind of blockages from either ad blockers or Safari limitations or this IDP limitations. So this is how kind of server side is working. Like from Tag Manager, a request is being sent to either Tag Manager or to Facebook directly within the first party cookie. And from there, all the data is being sent to Analytics, Facebook, Google Ads, and so on. So this is a complete server side tracking schema. But now I will show how we can do it without paying to anyone or any app, how we can directly connect our Shopify store with Facebook Conversion API. Most stores are already connected, but they did some mistakes, so their reports are kind of being broken. So that will help at the Facebook level. But if you are looking for a complete solution, like for your analytics reports, for remarketing events, and so on, then you will have to go with a server-side setup, and this is another level of tracking and a more complex setup. So let's come to our topic. Like, I hope this background information wasn't too technical. Let me know if there is any questions or something, please.
Yeah, all good. This is interesting so far.
Perfect. So what Facebook Conversion API does is everything is happening on the server side, right? Even if user is using an ad blocker or a browser that blocks the ads, let's say using a Brave browser, still these requests are being sent. And it sends all the available information of the user directly to Facebook servers via API. So for example, if I clicked on ad and if I land into your website, I have kind of like a click ID, let's say. That click ID is that immediately being sent to Facebook. And also if my user details are available at that moment in the Shopify store, let's say I purchased and I'm in thank you page, right? And in that page, my name, my address, my zip code, so many information about me is available in that page. So that is also being sent to conversion API. Every available information which is being sent is being sent. And the reason that Facebook wants all of this is that on their end, they will try to match this information with their side of table, let's say, because there is one side of the table, the guys who click the ads. And there is another side of the table who purchased, who added to cart, and so on. As the pixels are not working correctly, this match is not happening well now. But using conversion API, this is happening in the server side. Either Facebook is recognizing with click ID, or if the click ID is not available, then they are trying to recognize with the name, address, zip, and so on. Let's make an example of this. I saw an ad on my mobile Instagram, and I click on that. And obviously, Instagram knows my name and my address and all these things, but I didn't purchase it yet. I just click on it. And then I went to my desktop browser. I used an ad blocker. I went to that specific website and I purchased it. So technically, there is no connection between my Instagram browser, my Safari in-app browser through Instagram, or my desktop, right? But with the conversion API in Shopify store, if it is set up well, which we will do in some minutes, with the purchase details, also my details, my user details are being sent, and Facebook will match that. Facebook will say, okay, this is the same Erman, because he is in the same city, he has the same name and surname, maybe he has the same device, I don't know, zip code, and so on. So then this will be attributed. So then we will see this in the reports. We will see this in the reports that which ad brought that sale. Otherwise, we couldn't know it, and it wouldn't have been worked. So now I want to quickly go to Shopify and show how to set this up. Again, some stores did this already, but there are some small errors and so on. The best way to do and to make sure is, in the past, my screen is still visible, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. So in the past, we would set the Facebook pixel up. We would just add the pixel ID here and things would happen that way. But now with the conversion API, even this interface changed. So we need to click the setup Facebook button, and we need to have the Facebook sales channel app installed. Once we do that, and of course, to continue in these steps, we will need to log into our business manager, Facebook business manager, where we manage our Facebook pixel and so on. So it's good if the business manager admin and Shopify admin are the same person, then this process will just flow as it will flow now. So when I click setup Facebook, then it will probably open a pop-up or something like that. And obviously I disconnected it, so I'll connect, like reconnect, then it will bring this pop-up. Let's just, okay. Hope this will, amazing. This pop-ups are always challenging with the password reminders, right? So, okay. Once we log in, it should lead us to this. Or if you are already logged in, if you already did this before, just go to your Facebook app, click settings. It takes always some time to load. Click settings, then come to this data sharing settings and scroll down. So the cases I see is either this is not enabled. Make sure to enable this, because unfortunately you have to share your customer data so that it will work. Make sure to set this maximum. In some countries, in some settings, I don't know why, by default it comes standard, by default it comes enable data sharing none, because store owners tell me I didn't do anything, but yeah, we should go ahead and check and click maximum. And also go ahead here and make sure these are chosen by default, because in our case, default is maximum. So we need to make sure that we are sending all these details. And then lastly, it's not enough. We should connect pixel. We should connect the pixel that we are using. I mean, I have many obviously, but you probably, ideally, you should have only one. Or if you don't have any pixel, there will be a button here, create pixel. So then, okay, let's connect it to this one. Oh no. Okay, let's connect to this one. Now it should be connected. But of course, it's not enough to say it should be connected. We should make sure that it is connected. So this kind of pixel changes in Shopify, they might sometimes they might sometimes be delayed because of the cookies and those kind of things, because of the cache and those kind of things. So it's not always good to check immediately because you might not see it working, but it will start working in an hour or so. So the best way to check it, obviously, going to your Facebook Business Manager and checking if the data is flowing there. Now I will show a few screenshots of that. And after that, we will also go to browser pixel recognition here. Then we will do our troubleshooting from that too. So here, how you set it up simply. And in the most of the times, what I see as error is that stores are setting this up and using other pixels too. They have a pixel from an app. They have a pixel from Google Tag Manager. That's really usually not ideal if you don't know what you are doing very well. If you are not familiar with these terms perfectly, ideally you should be using one pixel because they can really interrupt each other. So make sure to have one pixel. We will troubleshoot that in a bit. Now I want to show a few screenshots from the Business Manager. And with those, I will kind of walk you through how you can troubleshoot it. Again, be a little bit patient. When you set up, you will not see the data coming in immediately. It will take some time. If you have so much traffic, maybe you can see the data coming in an hour or so. If you don't have so much traffic, you might need to be a little bit more patient maybe. But you will see the events like this. You will see some warnings and errors here, and then you will see the connection method here. Ideally, if you don't have any specific setup, this store, we set this up specifically, only server side is working in some certain events, but for regular stores, almost all the events should be a browser and server. So if you see here on the browser, there might be a problem with your pixel. You might want to recheck it. If you see on the server and if you don't know what you are doing, again, there might be a problem. So ideally, it should be a browser and server because these two data is being working perfectly. And here we have this column. This is called event match rate. This event match rate is exactly what I was talking about. For purchase event, it is too high because for purchase event, we have the user's name, user's zip code and everything. So Facebook is able to match this event very high. Like 8.8 is this event match rate is very high because we made this server side setting. But in regular setups, this is usually between 7 and 8, and it is totally fine. If it is between 7 and 8, you should be happy because then it means it works properly. So after this step, of course, this is not, you see here last event. Just go ahead and make some test purchase if you don't have any ongoing thing, or click view cart, do all these actions so that some events are being sent. Then click on this arrow, and then there will be a button called View Details for each of these. Go to Purchase because that's the most important one, obviously, and click View Details. Once you do that, you will come to a screen like this. I can't do it, unfortunately, because I cannot share client data publicly. That's why I'm sharing screenshots here. So what you want to do is, for the purchase event, Recent Activities tab, you should be seeing all your purchases here. If there are some missing purchases here, up to 10% is still acceptable. But if there are a lot of missing purchases, then that means your setup is not working properly. And also, this event parameters should be usually more than 7, 8. And when you mouse over here, you will see which event parameters are being sent to Facebook, like user's name, user's address, and all those things that we were talking about, the product's name, obviously, the product value, and so on. And lastly, you will see the URL, and this URL will be the checkout URL of that specific user. And here I have a kind of an, let's say, important trick, which most even professionals on our sector are not around. When we are doing this troubleshooting, and if there is a missing order, let's say they say, oh, we had today 3 orders, but only one of them is there. What we do is, because we have the URL here, we know exactly which order is here and which order is not, right? Then we just go to Shopify orders screen, and we try to understand the ones that are not here. We try to find a common path in between them. Maybe they use a payment provider, which is different. That's why it's not working. Maybe they use a shipping method. That's why it's not working. So all these things are helping the troubleshooting process. So from here, we should be seeing one by one. And again, up to 10% loss is acceptable. But if we are seeing so much discrepancy between the real data and your pixel data, then before you contact to any, I don't know, any professional or app, there is one method which always works: turn it off and turn it on. So you just redo this again, connect to another pixel this time. Trust me, it worked in many stores in our case. Like, we were very surprised, okay, why it's not working? We tried everything should be working. Then we're like, oh, why don't we just connect to another pixel? We connect to another pixel and it starts working. Surprising, but yeah. So just for testing purposes, you can leave it with another pixel for 1 day maybe, and to see if it will be working or not. So this is like the rough outline of how you should be checking this, setting it up and checking your Facebook pixel. And now I will show you the troubleshooting through the browser. So that will kind of help us to understand the process even more. Is there any store that comes to your mind that we can check? Maybe we can check a random store.
Yeah. You want me to just give you some random one?
Yes, why not?
Type in simulate, simulate.com. Simulate.com, I think it is.
Is that a Shopify store?
Yeah, it's a really interesting one. It's a client that sells these nugs, like these.
Wow, lovely. Lovely.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it just slowed a little, but it's pretty cool. The site. Let's see.
It is. So is it okay? Maybe. Oh wow! Impressive, amazing, man. I liked it so much. So this is a Chrome extension, Facebook Pixel Helper. Again, most store owners already has it because they tried to figure these things out. And when you load a website, it should show how many pixels are being loaded. And when you click on the page, first of all, once again, if you are seeing here more than 1 pixels, and if you don't know what's going on, if you haven't done this on purpose, then there is a mistake. Talk to your developer, remove that second and third pixels. You are sending data to somewhere which you don't know. Sometimes some apps are installing external pixels, which is not good. Or all the owner of the store, like so many backstories could happen. But 1 pixel is always ideal in case there is a specific reason. Some stores has the good reasons, but as we can see here, Simulate only has 1. And make sure this is yours, right? That's also another case. Like sometimes, I don't know, advertising agencies own the pixel or things like that. So that's not good. Own your own pixel because that's really very, very important. And here you will see the events. Obviously, we are in the home page now. That's why on the page view event is being triggered. And here we see like this kind of details. Is this store like a very advanced store? Is it like, do they have so much? Maybe they are not using.
I think it's a pretty custom store.
Okay, maybe they are not using the regular setup, because normally, as I'm in the product page now, if I was using a native integration, I should have seen this view content. This is probably a custom product page because it doesn't have the product label in the URL. And for example, when I click add to cart, then the add to cart event should have been triggered here. But maybe they made a custom setup and everything is being rendered totally on the server side, not the native integration. So let's try to get another store which is less super customized. Let's think of it. Let's do this way. Anything comes to your mind?
I don't know.
All of them comes to my mind are our clients, so it's kind of against our partnership agreement. That's why I cannot.
I don't know how custom the site is, but BYLT built basics. BYLT basics. Sorry.
Basics.
Yeah.
Like this.
I don't know how custom they are or aren't. So let's see.
Okay, at least their category page is regular using the collection. They have 2 different pixels. And okay, this is what we are looking at actually. In the native integration, you should be seeing an event ID here. If you are seeing an event ID here like this, that means that your Facebook conversion API is working because that is the one which is pushing this event ID. And this event ID is helping you with deduplication. So this is fine. And I'm in the collection page, so there is no specific event should be triggered here. But if I were to go to a product page, I hope this is not a custom page. Okay, this is a regular product page. Then I should expect view content event to be triggered. And when I click on that, I should be seeing all this data should be correct about the product. If any of them is missing, that means your integration is not working properly, right? So this ID should be correct, value, currency, name, category, content type should be group, and event ID should also be there. And another thing that if I add to cart, I think they want me to choose select size, and it's hard to catch because sometimes the page is reloaded, but always check the number here. Now there are only 2 pixels. I'll click add to cart. I expect it to go up. So for example, there is a problem with this store. If you know them, let them know. I only clicked once add to cart, but it's triggered twice. I mean, with the deduplicate, and it won't be deduplicated because they use a different ID. So in their reports, even though I clicked add to cart only once, they will see 2 add to cart in their reports. And this is a problem. This shouldn't be happening. There are these kind of things, and you even see this in like super top tier stores, you know. And let's click checkout. Then we expect this initiate checkout event to be triggered. That's perfectly triggered. And the same happens again. We should be seeing the products here, the value, items, currency, and of course event ID. This is pretty much how we kind of troubleshoot ourselves, right? If you are seeing all of them properly, then it means that your data should be good, and you need to be patient. Sometimes the data takes time to come, so it doesn't have to. You don't have to see it immediately. You know, it takes time to come. So patience help there. So this is pretty much how we can troubleshoot and find the problems on the Facebook pixel if we have ones. So how are we doing with the time? Shall we jump into Google Ads conversion API?
Yeah, how long do you think that will take? If not, I think we should have you back on for a separate video where we could focus on Google, because I think you.
Okay, I can quickly mention, and
awesome.
Then we do the second video later on. I can quickly mention because I find it really important. So awesome. Obviously Google also rolled out this like something like Facebook conversion API. They called it enhanced conversions, right? So it is available when you go to your Google account. You click on your conversions, and you should see something, maybe not here, but somewhere here, like enhanced conversion sections. If you are not seeing it yet, maybe it's not available for your account yet. But as far as I know, for the US, Canada, UK, Europe, it is enabled for almost all accounts now. So you should be seeing it. And you should click here and to make these settings, right? And the settings are quite in Shopify. The native app doesn't do it yet. But what I would like to do, I would like to provide to your audience a set of code just like this, which sets up enhanced conversions for them. All stores are already using this classic script tag for their conversion, and we will just need to edit it a little bit. Then enhanced conversion will work. What we'll do, as you can see here, it's pushing email, phone number, address, everything to Google Ads, and similar thing is happening. Maybe we'll leave a link below, and they just click on that. They copy that ID. They just update with their ID, with their advertising ID, and with their conversion label. Then their enhanced conversion will start working. It will be quite well because Google Ads will receive more data, and attribution will start working. So this is only about that. And lastly, I want to address this serious issue which I see almost in every store. So when you look at your Google Analytics report under all traffic, source, medium, if you see a lot of traffic is attributed to direct, or a lot of traffic is attributed to referrals, then you have a problem with your tracking. That's for sure. And mostly the problem is with your UTM parameters. Like most of the cases, over 90% of the cases I have seen was the UTM parameters problem. Of course, if analytics, Google Tag Manager, everything is set well. So how you can fix it? Again, we can leave another link below. I wrote a whole long article about it, but simply, if you make this is your Google, this is your Facebook ads account, and each ad separately, each one of your ads has this UTM parameter section. If you place the UTM parameters correctly there, then your ads will be attributed correctly. Of course, if everything else is set well as well, but this is either missing or wrong in most stores. And for example, being hard-coded writing Facebook is not the best practice. So this is a wrong one actually. So I will leave the best practice URL below, and that should really help with this problem. Another problem I see is that you can see here the sales is attributed to referrals, and guess what? The referral is Stripe. So obviously for the payment, you go to Stripe, you come back, and analytics think that Stripe referred that payment, and you lost all the you lost all the traffic, you lost all the attribution. So this works with referral exclusion setting in Universal Analytics. I don't even need to show it. You just type Google Universal Analytics referral exclusion and type Stripe, Klarna Payments, PayPal, whatever payment provider you are using, or whatever second URL you are using. Just add them to your referral exclusions. Then you, for example, this store, see they made 60,000 euro revenue, but 53 of them attributed to Stripe. So they will never know where this 53 came from, just because of this small single setting. So these things look like small things, but it affects a lot, especially when they are trying to understand the return of investment for their advertising campaigns.
Man, this is fantastic.
Glad to hear.
Yeah, this is great. My last question for you, well, I guess a couple questions. One is, what is the website for, how do you pronounce it? Your company?
I mean, think like analyze, like analyzing. I mean, my pronunciation is not quite good. So okay. Analyzify.app is our app in Shopify App Store for this kind of tracking setup and tracking problems. And Analyzify app is our website. We will soon release a hub where we share all this information for free. And Analyzify has a YouTube channel where I walk through all these things again for free. We never mind if somebody purchases from us or not. We love to help, and there are 1.7 million Shopify stores. So some of them will buy, some of them will just use our suggestions. So that's totally fine. So yeah, YouTube channel Analyzify or Analyzify app website or Analyzify on Shopify App Store is perfectly to find to reach us.
Amazing. And then what about your personal social handles? Twitter, where's the best place for people to find you?
Yeah, definitely my name and surname is my Twitter username and LinkedIn username in the same time. So it is, I can just actually pull it up, something like this. So it's here. I am from Turkey originally. I live in Estonia. My company is based in Estonia. I mostly tweet in Turkish because I like the Turkish audience that are like, they want the information so much, and I am happy to engage in Turkish. But I slowly started to tweet global as well, so I will switch to that soon.
Cool, man. And then we'll have the links below for some of the stuff on your site that you mentioned in terms of the scripts and the codes. And thank you so much for your time, your insight, your wisdom. This was really interesting.
Thank you so much. Nice to hear that, really, especially from you. Thank you so much.
Of course, man. All right. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.